Hello class, today we are reviewing how to find slope from graphs or 2 points. In addition to reviewing, we are going to add to it how to find graphs from tables. So my learning intention, I'm learning to find the slope of a line from a graph or from 2 points. So you've got 2 warm-up questions. Please pause the video and see if you can do those on your own. Well, I hope you tried to do them on your own and you were successful. Please check your answers as we go through. First thing you have to do is to identify your points, the coordinates of your points, because we know that to find our slope, we've got to take the difference of y over the difference of x. Okay, so our y values are -12 and 4. -12 minus 4 over -5 minus 3. Okay, is that how you got started? Is that how you set it up? If not, pause the video and see if you can analyze what you did wrong. -12 minus 4 more is -16. -5 minus 3 more is -8. Okay, negative divided by negative is a positive. 16 divided by 8 is 2. So our slope of the line would be 2. In other words, 2 over 1, up, 2, right, 1. So if I'm getting ready to graph, that's how I graph it. Let's look at the next one. When you're looking at it, first thing you have to think, is it a positive or a negative slope? Well, it's going up, so it is positive. I've got to create that right triangle. I've got 2 points actually identified for me. So I'm looking, this is my vertical line, this is my horizontal line, this is where they intersect. So I know it's positive, and I go up 1, and I go to the right, 1, 2. So this is a slope of 1/2. Did I need the positive sign? No, but I wanted it there so you would realize that it was important to identify that first. Okay, so what do I need to remember when finding the slope from a graph? First thing we did was identify whether it's positive or negative slope. And then next, you created that right triangle. Okay, the last thing you do is to count. Count the rise over the run. Okay, so identify whether it's positive or negative. Create a right triangle. Count the rise over the run. Those are your steps. So let's find the slope from these graphs. Identify whether it's positive or negative. It's going up, so it is positive. Create that right triangle. Here's my vertical line. Here's my horizontal line. They intersect here. Now I count. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I go up 4, and I go right 1. So that is a slope of 4. If I'm graphing, I go up 4 and over 1. Okay, let's look at the next one. Is it a positive or a negative slope? It's negative because it's going down. So as we're looking at this, here's my vertical line, here's my horizontal line. I'm creating that right triangle. Now I count. I count down 1, 2, 3, 4. I count right 1, 2. Okay, I can simplify because I know 4 divided by 2 is 2. So this is a slope of negative 2. Okay, the next one we're going to do 2 points. Hopefully you remember how to do that. First thing we do, this is your formula up here. Y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Remember, we can name either one of the points. So, point 1 and point 2 truly does not matter. So, x sub 2, y sub 2, x sub 1, y sub 1. My slope is equal to the change in y over the change in x. What are my y values? 7 and negative 4. 7 minus negative 4. Even though 4 is negative, I am still subtracting. Negative 4 minus negative 4. 7 minus negative 4 is the same as 7 plus 4. Oh, I made a mistake. So 7 minus negative 4, but this is negative 4 minus negative 6. Negative 4 minus negative 6, which equals negative 4 plus 6. Okay, 7 plus 4 is 11. Negative 4 plus 6, they're opposite signs, so I subtract. 6 minus 4 is 2. Keep the sign of the larger number, so this is positive 2. Now I analyze. Can I simplify 11 over 2? No, there are no common factors. Okay, pause the video and see if you can do the next one on your own. Pause the video now. Well, I hope you tried. Now, x, y, x, y. This time I'm not going to put the subscripts because I know I'm going from one point to the next. Slope is the change in y over the change in x. My y values are 8 and 16. 8 minus 16. My x values are 20 and 9. 20 minus 9. Okay, 8 minus 16, they're opposite signs, so I subtract. 16 minus 8 is 8. I keep the sign of the larger, which is negative. 20 minus 9 is 11. I analyze. Can I simplify negative 8 over 11? No. So that would be my slope, negative 8 over 11. Okay, now we're jumping into the new information. Find the slope of a line from these tables of values. Remember, our slope is the change in y over the change in x. That's what slope is. So the first thing I do is to look at my differences. Here's my delta y. Negative 17 plus what gives me negative 13? That's plus 4. Negative 13 plus what gives me negative 9? That's plus 4. Negative 9 plus what gives me negative 5? That's plus 4 again. Negative 5 plus 4 gives me negative 1. So I know my change in y is 4 over, now let's look at the difference in x. 1 plus what gives me 2? 2 plus what gives me 3? 3 plus what gives me 4? 4 plus what gives me 5? Well, that's 1 every time. So it's 4 over 1, which is simply 4. Okay. This is my delta x on this side. There's your y values, how they change. You just analyze what it takes to go from one number to the next. Same on your x's. What does it take to go from one number to the next? Okay, so let's jump over to the next one. Delta y and delta x. Okay, 1 plus what gives me 2? Well, I'm adding 1. Now I'm going to check. If this would have said linear tables, I wouldn't have to check because I would know that it will be constant. Okay, 1 plus 1 gives me 2. 2 plus 1 gives me 3. 3 plus 1 gives me 4. 4 plus 1 gives me 5. That constant difference is adding 1. Okay, let's see what we do on this side. Negative 1 plus what gives me positive 1? I'm adding 2. 1 plus 2 gives me 3. 3 plus 5 gives me 3 plus 2 gives me 5. 5 plus 2 gives me 7. So that is my constant difference. In this case, my slope is equal to 1 over 2. Okay, pause the video and see if you can do the next one on your own. This time, you do not have it going up by 1 on your x or going up by 2. What does it look like? What is your delta y and what is your delta x? I hope you tried on your own. Let's look at our change in y. What do I add to 10 to get back to 5? That would be negative 5. 5 plus negative 5 gives me 0. 0 plus negative 5 gives me negative 5. Negative 5 plus negative 5 gives me negative 10. So negative 5 is that constant difference. Negative 5 plus what gives me negative 2? Well, I'm adding 3. Negative 2 plus 3 gives me 1. 1 plus 3 gives me 4. 4 plus 3 gives me 7. So I know that I'm adding 3 each time. So let's put it all together as our slope. The change in y is a negative 5. The change in x is a positive 3. So that slope would be negative 5/3. I know I am successful when I can find the slope of a line from a graph, a table, or two lines. And this is finding slope.